All of us are very thankful that everyone comes tonight to honor Dolly and Lea. We've been in rehearsals for a show we're doing in Manila called Radyo, which is it's about isolation and loneliness. So it means a lot for a community to come together and celebrate the process with us and celebrate these two icons of the Philippines. And it's so wonderful to see a table full of artists and journalists and fantastic people from the Philippines. So, so thank you for joining us tonight. It's like it means a lot to us, and we hope, if not now, at some point you'll all come back to the Philippines and perform with us. And we hope you'll continue to support all the Filipino artists because we have the best of the best in our country, as everybody knows.
When I saw the announcement, I ran up and because I've heard it play. I'm like, I think I've heard about the play like 20 years ago. Yeah. And then I did, oh my god, it's the Mozart. It's like the Mozart. And then I thought that you were double casting it into it. I'm like, what? It's like highbrow intellectual theater that is so, and what you're doing with it with Global Filipino Superstars. What's important, you're putting a mirror up to your audience saying this is our people living there.
What I wanted to say is that you know, I spoke with Clint, you know, for about tonight, and I think what I wanted to say, I think I told you about this when we were at Gold House. What I wanted to say, obviously tonight is really to honor Dolly and Lea after the rehearsal and what's coming up. But even more so, I think what I want to say, this moment really signifies even bigger, you know, how it hopefully would reverberate towards all the things that we're doing. When we were together at Gold House, I would always share and tell you that, you know, you've been an inspiration, and I hope that in our own worlds, wherever we are, whatever we do, right, we get to be that to other people, because it is so important that we get to find reflections of what is possible in our lives and whatever that is, particularly in the arts. So I just want to say thank you all for being here and all your contributions and whatever that you do. Thank you, Lea. Thank you, Dolly.
Thanks, Gina. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, so my Instagram feed
What about it?
is full of Carlos Yulo.
Oh my gosh, me too.
But my God, what a feat. So
Yeah.
And it was something that I don't think I ever thought I would see in my lifetime.
Me neither.
I thought it was gonna end with Heidelin Diaz. Pero ang galing, no? 2 pa in a row. 2 goals in a row. Nakaka-proud talaga.
It was like,
sobrang...
This is what is this a once in a generational kind of once in a generation type of feat? Are we never gonna see this again, or maybe it's a sign?
I think it's a sign. I think it's a sign that Filipinos are starting to emerge na talaga. We're starting to be on the map. I mean, Here Lies Love, all Filipino cast yun.
Wasn't that crazy?
Grabe.
I blame that on Clint.
Yeah.
No,
what's wrong with him?
My involvement in that, this is how he got me into this. I'm getting a phone call from Clint Ramos. And as I'm walking the aisles at Ulta, he asks the question, do you want to be a part of this? Okay, you know what? I'm going to kick myself in the rear if I don't say yes to something this historic and unprecedented. And then it wasn't just that I was a performer. I became one of the producers of this show.
Yeah. Galing na the way us Filipinos are really spreading our wings. I mean, like...
It's like this renaissance.
John Briones.
Oh my God.
Right? I love him so much.
He was incredible.
Yeah, and Red Concepcion. Diba? He's doing the engineer now. And he did the engineer.
He just finished a run. Is he still in the run? In Chicago.
Right.
Playing Amos Hart, singing Mr. Cellophane 8 times a week. And then John's daughter, Isa.
Yes.
Who is another actor,
Hadestown.
really wonderful actor who was in Hadestown. I saw them both in it. And probably wept more there watching them than I did at the opening, because it was someone I knew as a toddler, as a literal toddler, and someone who began this whole international journey with me in that original company of Miss Saigon in London. And then for him to headline the revival as the engineer, and then to go to Broadway, and then to continue working, and to work with Ryan Murphy on multiple projects.
You know, honestly, I think we owe it all to the millennials and the Gen Zs, because they're the ones who taught us about inclusivity and diversity.
Yeah.
Although that's been a part of our language since we were kids, but it hasn't been a practice.
Right.
Not until these young people came into the picture and they're fighting really for diversity and inclusion. So that's why now we have a voice. There's so many of us who are doing really well, like Ruby Ruiz, Chai Fonasher, Angeli Bayani.
Yes.
Dami.
She was wonderful in Angels in America, because I saw her in it. And I'd never seen her in anything before. But wow. Yeah,
I think this is really the start of, it's our turn to really...
Yeah. I mean, internationally?
Yeah.
And then Nicole Scherzinger, who we all know is Filipino, like the lead singer from the Pussycat Dolls. People are going to be so surprised when they see her in Sunset Boulevard playing Norma Desmond. I could not believe what I was watching.
Wow, I can't. I think I can watch it.
It's like, it's this Filipino. She's around my height, but she's probably half my width. She's tiny, but powerful on stage, and you just cannot take your eyes off her.
And Batista also, who's one of the Filipino Phil-Ams, who is so proud of being Filipino.
Dave Bautista.
I love him. He even had the flag tattooed on his arm.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And he's doing much more.
He's doing a lot. He's doing a lot talaga.
And I like that his name is not Batista anymore, which is his wrestling name.
He went back to Bautista. Galing.
Be seen, because then when you're being seen, the rest of us get seen.
Yeah, and our stories will be
Tangay
told.
Lahat.
And what's important is our stories will be told, and that's what I want to see. Actually,
Yeah.
I want to see Filipino writers and filmmakers to emerge so that our stories are told and people can understand us more. Like what you said earlier, diba, about Filipinas are known as being mahinhin and we'll just take it. But no, actually, we're really quite strong. Especially the titas. They are really, whoa, you cannot pull one over
very
them.
Intimidating,
no way. Yeah.
Very powerful.
Stern.
Yeah. Like the whole Maria Clara thing is an act.
No. Wala nang gano'n. Ano lang yun. Parang representation lang yun ni Jose Rizal ng Pilipinas. Pero hindi ng Pilipina. Kasi ang Pilipina palaban, Gabriela sila nga, di ba? One of our heroines, babae.
Yeah. But then you also have Isabel Sandoval, who is more mahinhin.
Yeah. Very ladylike, very classy, pero fierce siya kasi she's a triple writer, hyphenate. Is that the term?
Multi-hyphenate?
Multi-hyphenate. She writes, directs,
and acts.
Galing.
Grabe. Okay, so since Triangle of Sadness, and here comes the career explosion, and you finally feeling at ease with all of the craziness that's happening. So what happened after Triangle? You said that there is stuff that's currently on the streaming platforms.
Yeah, there's Jackpot. It's on Prime.
Okay.
It's out now.
Internationally on Prime.
Internationally, yes. And then there's Between the Temples, which is in cinemas now in the States.
Oh, fab. Okay.
And Ghostlight. Also, pag uwi mo, watch ka naman.
Yeah.
Ghostlight and
may
Between the
malapit naman na
Temples.
sinihan eh.
Oo, yun. And then next year, 9 Perfect Strangers is going to come out on Prime also. That's a series naman.
So it's a series.
It's season 2.
Oh!
I wasn't in season 1 because we're all totally different characters except for Nicole Kidman, who's the constant in that whole show.
Oh!
So that's coming out next year. That's where I spent 6 months in Munich filming.
Ang sarap.
Yeah, ang sarap. Pero at the same time, nakaka-homesick.
Were you able to travel while you were in Munich?
I visited Lisbon. I've never been to Portugal. So with my daughter came to see me. Yeah. So yeah, I was able to, and I saw some parts of Austria, which is a neighboring country of Germany. So it was really great. And you, what are you doing next? Old Friends, diba?
Old Friends is coming to Los Angeles first in February, and then goes to Broadway in March. So I'm extremely excited about it.
Bernadette Peters.
Yeah, it's Bernadette Peters, who was a Sondheim muse. And okay, my Bernadette Peters story. When I saw her in A Little Night Music, which is another one of Stephen Sondheim's beautiful musicals, I was destroyed. And it wasn't only that she sang it well. I mean, she's legendary for a reason. It was just that you could almost hear the crack in her heart right before Send in the Clowns was going to be sung. It's almost like you could hear that.
Wow.
After the guy leaves her and leaves her alone. That's the storytelling gift that she has. So my question for you, now I've talked about Bernadette Peters and this.
Pero wait, before you ask me your next question, what else? Di ba you have a concert here?
There's a lot going on.
Oh, tell me.
So after Request sa Radyo, a couple of weeks after that, there's November 4 and 5, which is my stage, screen, and everything in between tour that I just did in the UK. We're now bringing it to Manila and then going to Dubai. And then I think I do some shows for Christmas in the US. And then in January, we start rehearsals in New York for Old Friends.
Sarap.
So I have a few weeks of peace and quiet. But since I have a senior in high school, I don't know about peace and quiet.
Good luck.
Yeah. So my question for you is, okay, so you've done all of these international... Who was the one actor where, number one, you had these preconceived notions na about him or her, and then when you got to work with them na, it's like, you are more wonderful than my preconceived
Oh my
notions.
gosh.
Sino? Na parang,
Alam mo, Murray Bartlett talaga. He is such a sweetheart. He's such a darling. He played this twisted, creepy guy in White Lotus, but he is so
Isn't it usually like that?
lovely. Well, yeah, I guess. Pero no, I mean, when I say he's a nice person, he's really a nice person. He's really good. You can really tell that he has a good heart. Murray Bartlett, Annie Murphy, who's in Schitt's Creek. She's so cool. Christine Baranski, who I was so intimidated. And she's parang she really carries herself with grace and para siyang may dugong bughaw. Oo. So, when I first met her, I was so intimidated by her, especially kasi I have a problem with authority. Because nga of my history in Dulang UP, where the professors were, you know, what they were doing to
Yes,
us. So
yeah.
I've been carrying this problem with authority all my life.
Right.
So when I first met her, I was so intimidated by her. She scared me to death. But no, she's so sweet. She's so sweet and lovely and kind and funny and yeah, ang sarap lang nung feeling na you get to work with these people who you just watch from afar and then you meet them and they turn out to be even better than what you were watching. Ang sarap lang ng feeling. So when was your last play?
My last play in Manila? No, the last play in Manila, well, the last play abroad was Old Friends in London. And then before that, it was Here Lies Love on Broadway.
Okay.
So I was like, wow, I get to open a Broadway show and a West End show in the same season. I have never done that in my life. But the play that I did previous to that was here.
Yeah.
It was Sweeney Todd.
What year was that?
Bobby Garcia directed. It was in 2019 as part of Atlantis Theater's 20th season. 20th season? 2020. So it was Atlantis 2020, and it was the last play of the season. Okay. Sweeney.
That was your last Filipino
That was
production.
my last production in the Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah. And the fun thing about doing theater in the Philippines, for me, one, Bobby is always making people laugh. And always funny, always joyful, even if the show is dark. And this show is dark.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't about leaning into how dark it is. That's kind of a given how we look, the subject matter, the time period, the place. So we leaned into the humor. So just to have a balance. And working with him was such a treat.
I've never worked with him.
Yeah.
That's the difference between you and me. You've worked with him so many times.
So many times on different things.
I've never worked with him.
So you're in for a treat.
Oh my God. Okay, good. Yay. Because my last play was 6 years ago.
Which one? Which play was
River Lethe. It was a one-act play during the Virgin Lab Fest in CCP.
Right.
That was my last play, and that was with Paulo O'Hara, Chris Martinez.